Hey viewers, thank you for joining us today. My name is Joseph, your host, and today we are joined by a very beautiful African lady, as you can see, and she's going to be our first guest in this podcast, and just a kind of preparing the scene for what to expect in this conversation. We'll be having conversations related to homemaking in a foreign soil. But with our guest today, we'll have the opportunity to learn diverse perspective, considering her background in both worlds, in Africa and also in Europe. So we hope that these insights can really inform our understanding more on what it means to grow up in both worlds, but also finding a living and a livelihood in these situations. So without taking much of your time, I'll try to do justice to introducing Miata. So by birth, Miata was born in Liberia and West Africa and moved to the Netherlands early 90s. Um, as you mentioned, due to war, right?
Yes, because of the war
Yeah.
in Liberia. Yeah.
So she's what we would describe as a 1.5 generation immigrant, and that is because she was already born in Liberia, and then she experienced a little of Liberia, and then moved to the Netherlands before she became an adult. So she doesn't clearly fit into either second generation or first generation. So we sustained with 1.5 generation in this podcast. And she grew up, you completed your primary education and secondary education here.
Yeah.
And she's a lawyer. So guys, when you have a problem, you know who to get to. Through her own personal experience in the Netherlands, you decided to venture into the field of law practicing.
Immigration law.
Was your background, did it play a role, to these kind of choices?
So I always knew that I wanted to do something with law. I just didn't know what I would practice. I was thinking maybe family law, but I never really thought of immigration law. So it actually happened that I found out that I was passionate about immigration law once I started doing my internship.
Yeah.
And that's how the love or the passion actually came out. And I'm like, yeah, I'm in my element. This is what I want. This is what I want to do. Yeah.
And speaking about family, Miata is married to a Dutch Nigerian.
He's almost.
Okay.
Not yet.
Almost.
Yeah.
And she's a proud mother of two.
Yes.
And a proud wife.
Yes.
And she's also into community building especially for internationals. When you move into a foreign soil, one of the very first places you find support is in the church.
Yeah, that's true.
And Miata can also serve as your local person to contact if you're living in the Netherlands. And what's the name of your church again?
Redeemed.
Redeemed.
Yeah, Redeemed. So, yeah.
She's a great woman of God. We're gonna dive into some more questions to get more about what growing up in this country is like,
Sure.
for you over the years. So what was it like, for you moving here? At what age can you remember moving here?
I was really young. So we came here in, I think around 1995, 96. So I was like 4 or 5 when I came here. I get the question a lot, like, what was it like growing up? But Netherlands is all I know.
Yeah.
Because I was so young. So growing up, actually, I had a very good experience.
Mm-hmm.
I had there was an organization that used to help people when they just come into the countries as refugees.
Yeah.
And that organization, there was a lady that was working there, and she's actually one of the women that today I'm still in touch with, because she was like our first welcome to the Netherlands. So I've actually grown up, I actually have really good experiences. Yeah.
That is good. So Miata, when you hear the word home, what comes to your mind?
For me personally, when I hear the word home, is my parents. So I can't immediately tell you it's Liberia. If I did, I would be lying to you. Because still today, I still haven't gone back to Liberia. I haven't been back yet. So Liberia for me is my parents. And those are the ones that gave me the culture. Those are the ones that raised me in the Netherlands within the culture of Liberia. So when I'm with my parents, I'm at the embassy of Liberia. And when I'm out, I'm back in the Netherlands. Yeah.
So you would say that your connection to your roots is via your parents?
Yeah, it is. And the Liberian community that we actually created ourselves by the fact that Liberians, Liberians were looking for each other, because in those days there was not really like Facebook and you know, all those things. So it was just like, okay, if you meet a Liberian, you'd be like, hey, write your number down. I know another Liberian. Let's get in touch. And that's how we grew our community. Yeah.
So you basically grew the Liberian community in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what we did. Not so much my dad only, but that's how we found ourselves. Yeah. You know, and we were now introduced to other Liberians. You know, that's a word of mouth. Yeah.
Growing up in two different worlds, you know, I mean, having your early childhood in Africa, Liberia, and then later on you moved to the Netherlands. Do you think you would have become a different person if you stayed in Liberia?
Definitely. There's no way I wouldn't have been a different person.
What would you say changed? I mean, if you have networks of people who couldn't move because of the war, do you have network or peers, and what is it like for them?
So the reason I'm saying this is because your environment really shapes you. And from what I've known and what I've seen, how Liberia is, it's a tough environment. It makes you become a different person. So here, I growing up here, I didn't really have to be so tough. Like, I could just be myself. Do you get? Like, I don't have to, like, if I can give an example of my husband that actually did grow up back home till his teenage years. He's very observative, very cautious about his surroundings. And sometimes he jokes like, somebody can just kidnap you, you know, because you're not observant. You don't see things. You don't. And I'm like, because I grew up in a country where I'm quite safe, relatively safe.
I see.
You know, so that's just something small. You know, something small that I can give as an example. But then I cannot specifically tell you the kind of Miata I would have been growing up back in Liberia, because unfortunately that was just not my story. But I can tell you I would have been different, without a word.
I think this makes a lot of sense, especially when you say safety. You know, safety is not just a small thing.
No,
it's really what shapes who you later become in life.
It does.
And if you grow up in an environment where safety is a big concern, then you obviously will struggle to become a better person in adulthood. So I agree with you on that. But how would you describe your identity? Would you call yourself a black Dutch or an African Dutch? I mean, what identity would you resonate with?
That's a good question. I like that question. So for me, I can't tell you I'm 100% Liberian.
Okay. Even if you have an African roots. You know?
So I can't tell you I'm 100% Liberian, fully, because I'm definitely diluted. Definitely.
Okay.
So I would really consider myself a Dutch Liberian, to be honest, or a Liberian Dutch, or whatever you want to put it.
Yeah.
I take the parts of my culture that I believe are good, that I believe have good values, good morals,
Yeah.
ethics. I am a person that I love family, I love community, and that's contrary to the West, because
Yeah.
the West is more of an individual
kind of thing.
community. It's
Yeah.
more me, and myself, and not really having family or whatever around. General overall. I like some of the things of the West, how some things are structured.
Yeah.
And I take that with me because that's what I like, and it helps me as well.
Yeah.
So I definitely consider myself more African Liberian than Dutch or Western. But I do know that when I meet Africans that really grew up back home, that speak their native language, that maybe always eat their native food in their house.
There's a nuance.
There's a nuance between us, and then I think what now maybe brings us together is intelligence, conversations, how do you say that? How someone is looking for the word. When somebody is like an all-round, like more of a global citizen kind of person, like somebody that's not only has tunnel vision.
Yeah.
I don't know how to.
Someone that is vast, maybe.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So I would.
You can also say multicultural.
Multicultural, someone that I can be like, okay, that it's not only as much as I love my culture, I love where I'm from, I love my people, I love my food, I love how we do things that we know from ourselves.
Yeah.
But I also love to explore other cultures, and I bond with people on that.
Yeah, and speaking about multiculturalism and the whole idea around diversity, how did growing up as a Dutch African, your color, your race, how did it play a part growing up in a more European or white-dominated environment?
Yeah.
Particularly with the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Did you experience some kind of discrimination, withdrawal, stuff like that? How did those kind of things shape you?
I was always a bit naive and ignorant to the fact that there's racism, there's discrimination. I did not want to lead with the victim mentality, Yeah. I was this person that if you do well, they have to recognize you. They must see you. But the truth of the matter is that in the end, they want to pick who they want to pick.
Yeah.
So I have a very short example. I remember I had to look for an internship, and there was a very prestige real estate company, because I told you then I did not really know what I wanted to do.
So you're just jumping here and there.
I was just trying to see what I would like, as a young girl. I was just.
Yeah, I think everybody suffered. Go through that.
Yeah.
So it's also nice to say this kind of thoughts should be normalized. People shouldn't just know what they want.
Immediately. Yeah. So I was like 18, 19, and I was like, okay, I might like to be a realtor one day. I was like, oh, I think it suits me as well, I'm a cute girl and I'll just be showing you homes and stuff, So I wanted to do my internship at the realtor estate agent, I don't know how you call it, and I got there, and it was such a very prestige office there where I was living at that time in the Netherlands. Very big and very white. So all the girls that were working there had like blonde hair, very petite, blue eyes. Like I did not just fit in that the what they were presenting to the world.
Yeah.
So I remember I did my interview with them, and I wasn't hired. And the funny thing is that there was another girl in my class, and she went there as well, because I told you that it was a very prestige place.
Yeah.
Like, if you could get that internship,
Yeah.
It would just like, it
would be like setting
very
you
good
up
on your
for,
like, okay, especially if you want to go into real estate.
Yeah.
So she got the interview, and the lady the lady did not know that she and myself were in the same class that interviewed her. And the lady told her, well, we picked you because your profile and how you look is better than the person that came before you.
Oh, I see.
She doesn't match what we would like to present in this office. Meaning they don't want to see a black girl in a white office with blonde hair and blue eyes. And now she told me eventually, and she didn't know. And that for me really opened my eyes. Like, okay, so I was good enough.
Yeah.
My credentials were good. My grades were good as well.
Yeah.
But I don't fit your picture of how you want your employees to look like. And you went with somebody that was white and did fit the picture. So so today I never forgot about it,
Yeah, it's difficult to also, place where that kind of systemic, I don't want to use the word discrimination.
Yeah.
But I also like to think that organizations are set up in certain ways, and they have the values they want to project.
Yeah.
They also have an image they want to project.
Exactly.
So if they just want to be white centric, if I would use that, or Eurocentric in how they are perceived, that would not necessarily be a bad one, because perhaps that is where they have a huge customer base. Don't you think so?
So I don't fully agree, but I understand where you're coming from. I see what you're doing.
I'm just trying to see all sides,
I understand where you're coming from, but what I do believe is that when you have a room of people, different ages, different races, different cultures, different ethnicities, men and female, you get different ideas.
Yeah.
You get different kind of inputs. So now what happens when you always stay within that comfort zone, within that white centric thinking, all of you think the same.
Yeah.
A lot of the times.
But
when you bring a black woman into the mix, she comes with different kind of thinking, a different kind of idea, because why? She has a different
way to see the world.
Exactly. When you bring an elderly man in, he has a different thinking, a different a point of view in some things. So if you want to elevate your organization or even yourself as a person, you do need people from different cultures, countries across the board to just to take yourself a notch up. Because there's more than where we are right now. There's more than just Netherlands.
Yeah, that's
There's more
true.
than just Africa.
True. So, I agree. Looking at it from the perspective you've presented these experiences, it makes a lot of sense to also think that way. Would you say, how would you, because I also remember growing up in Nigeria, for example, you also have this kind of system where if you're from a higher or advanced family or rich family or wealthy home, you also don't go to the same school with every other kids in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So sometimes moving here, when I also see this kind of hierarchies, social hierarchies, it's easy for one to think racism. But when you also go back home, when you look back home in Africa, for example, especially in Nigeria, where is a very structured class society, you also experience this level of social hierarchies, ways of defining people, So My question now to you would be, if you were to be in such environment where you also have the same kind of people of the same color, speak almost the same language, and you have this experience, how would you contextualize it?
You need to rephrase that again. Like I'm trying to find where.
Yeah. How would you interpret this kind of experience that you had with the company?
Okay.
In an African context, where also people have the same kind of experience.
Yeah.
But because everybody is of the same color, it's difficult to use the word
racism.
You know, or maybe profiling, racial profiling. But somehow you've been profiled and you didn't get the opportunity, because it also happens in these countries, you know, that are majorly black people. Would you still call that? I mean, how would you define that experience?
Yeah, so I love that question as well. You know, what I can answer to that is that I would have left with a different feeling. And the feeling I left with when I went to the real estate agency was I wasn't good enough.
Okay.
Because I'm black. I felt bad about myself, and I thought, okay, so if I was white, maybe I would have gotten an opportunity. But if that would have happened in a black setting, at least I wouldn't think, okay, it's because I'm black. Do you understand? I wouldn't see myself. I wouldn't look down on myself. I wouldn't look down at the color of my skin. I would just be disappointed that, okay, I did not get it because the way our government is structured. Like, you know what we say, it's not what you know back home. It's
who you know.
Yeah. So I would have maybe gotten out with a feeling of probably there's some rich kid that the dad came in and told the person, see, this is where my son or my daughter needs to be. You need to make sure that you have a spot. You understand? So I would have left with a totally different feeling. But now I felt somehow demoralized.
So if I follow this logic of thinking, shall we now say the idea or the racism is something you just perceive because you already self-aware that you are black, and then because you are black, when things happen, it's easy to say, oh, I have been profiled, or because if that's kind of logic, for example, as you have presented now, is the case, it means that people sometimes judge themselves even before they are judged. So the idea of being self-aware, does it also help to promote the thinking that you are different, or do they need to be something tangible that must have happened to provoke such thoughts?
I think that it's a bit of both. I think that it is something that you feel internally. And that you can't really explain to somebody that is maybe just European, white European. But then, like I said, I don't want to have that victim mentality and always switch it to, okay, it's because of this, it's because of. But there are some things that when I tell you as a black person, you will just immediately understand me. And it's not because it's not because we always want to blame the system. It's not because we always want to blame other people for maybe not getting an opportunity. It's just that we have gone through it and we understand. So I think it's a bit of both.
We're gonna leave it here. You know, we have delved so much on this. But it's nice to have this kind of conversations, because also this kind of thoughts and conversations, people don't like to have them.
That's true.
And because of how sensitive they are. But I think when you have this kind of conversation, it helps to also share experiences that others can really build from, you know. And it helps to build on your perception and your motivation as a person. But just before we move away from this
can I say
subject,
something about that? it can, but it can also do the opposite. So either talking about something all the time can either open up a wound,
or
it can heal it.
Yeah.
You know how sometimes you're like, some people say, we need to stop talking about slavery.
Yeah.
Because if we continue talking about it, they will always see black people in the light of slaves.
Yeah.
And other people are saying, no, we need to
have a conversation
about it to let people know why it's important, that something like this shouldn't happen again. So it could go both ways.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It really can go both ways, and it's up to the person or the third party listening, or the viewers, or the persons involved to make out their own thoughts out of it.
Yeah.
But indeed, you're right. People can think that talking about something is a way of trying to recreate the issues, you know, the wounds, the challenges.
Yeah.
Also, the other persons may think that say talking about them helps to prevent such things from happening again. And I strongly want to lean to the latter.
Okay.
You know,
I like that. Yeah.
And talking about homemaking, how do you make home? Is it by connecting with people? How do you feel that you are really, even though you're living somewhere else, or you are a part of a system, in terms of skin color, that is not your root? But what makes you connect to this place, or to this country, or to your environment, and you say, I feel at home? So is it culture? Is it food? Is it people? Is it language? For you, how does it work for you? What?
Can I be honest?
Yeah, just be honest. That's why we're here. Okay. This is an honest, podcast, where you want to feel free to share your thoughts.
I don't think I've ever really, really felt at home in the Netherlands.
Okay.
And it's not because it's not a good country. It's just that I've gone through, so the examples I've given you are just one of very many examples.
Yeah.
And I feel like when those things start accumulating, building up, sometimes there's a point you get to, you'll be like, okay, well, I'm also not really loved, appreciated in this country, but does not mean I'm not a law-abiding citizen, does not mean I will not live by their rules, does not mean I will not integrate in their society, in their way of doing, which I have, and I am, and I'm doing.
Yeah.
So when you say, how do I make this place a home, you can't make something a home that you've never really felt that is a home. So for me, my home is really my family. Like I said in the beginning, my parents, my husband, my children, that's really where I feel at home.
I see.
And the culture in my home is the African culture. So I might have not grown up in Liberia. I might have not lived there till I was a teenager. But that's where I do really feel at home.
I see.
Yeah.
So for you, home is more culturally affiliated than environmentally exposed.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
I see. That's quite strong, and also very emotional there. And are there other aspects of yourself that when you look at, you think you don't fully belong? In this space, for example?
I think it's I can't say I don't fully belong because I do believe that I belong. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? When I say I do believe that I belong, I'm trying to say that I believe that what other people have and are experiencing here in the Netherlands, I also have the right to it.
Yeah.
Because I believe that I'm worthy of a good life. I believe that I'm worthy of a nice neighborhood and a nice house.
Yeah.
So I don't really feel like I don't belong, but I do feel that sometimes when I'm around other Dutch people, that they try to make me feel like I don't belong. Like maybe the neighborhood that we live in.
Yeah.
I remember when we moved to the neighborhood, a lot of people were like, how
is this all black
well,
family
exactly.
living?
How is this all black family living in this kind of neighborhood, and you have a nice car? We see you guys going out, and
you'll be surprised that this kind of thinking still happening in 21st century.
Exactly. So and every time, or the times that they do approach me because they're curious, one of the first things they want to know is where I'm from and what kind of work I do.
Yeah.
And it sometimes it triggers me. It's like, so how come it's me specifically that brings out the curiosity in you? Because when you meet somebody else that's maybe a Dutch person, the first two questions aren't where are you from and what do you do. Like you don't question that this person is able financially to stay in this kind of neighborhood. But for me, you're like, okay, I actually want to know what you do, because I don't see it. Probably I don't see it a lot, or so it's a bit of the other way around.
Yeah, I think I can relate to this experience. Just this New Year celebration, I just went out to watch the fireworks.
Oh yeah.
And one of my neighbor said, "Hey, how are you doing? Where are you from?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Nigeria."
Yeah.
And then she asked, "What do you do?"
Okay.
I said, "I'm a researcher."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Really? Like, what do you mean, like research?"
Yeah.
I said, "Yeah, what do you research?" And I explained what I'm doing and what stage of research I am in.
Yeah.
And she was like, she couldn't hold it back. She was like, the only thing I know about Nigerians is things related to fraud, and stuff like that. I never believed that a Nigerian would be studying.
That something good can come out of it.
Living in the neighborhood and studying.
Yeah.
And I was like, you really don't know Nigerians, because we're everywhere and we study hard.
Yeah.
So it is surprising, just to relate to your account, that people still think, about people in certain ways, having that stereotype, about people is really a problem.
Yes.
I would like to ask you this: what do people misunderstand? I mean, what do you think people misunderstand about you as a 1.5 generation immigrant? And we can also say to second generation immigrant, if that helps to conceptualize your response as well.
Yeah. So one of the first things that I always get when I speak to Dutch people is, wow, your Dutch is impeccable. So that's the first thing. A lot of the times I've heard, are you adopted? Because like you're so well integrated, you know about Dutch this and Dutch that and da 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 da. So a lot of the times when they come in contact with me, they're surprised about those two things, but also how what a strong communicative person I am.
Yeah.
They're like, oh wow, you're really well spoken, and you know a little about everything. I'm a bit surprised actually. So it's more of an.
So they ask that from the perspective that you shouldn't know, or they're surprised that you know.
I think it has to do a bit with intelligence. That's what I feel, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But a lot of the times they seem impressed by me, and I'm like, I don't know why you should be impressed, because we're all we're all living here, we're all human beings, and sometimes I ask, sometimes I don't, and they'll just be like, yeah, because we don't see it a lot. A black woman, you speak Dutch really well, you have a good job, you're doing okay for yourself, and we just don't see it a lot. So I'm really curious to know, like, what like, if I can, it might sound wrong, but it's not what I mean. Like, what went different with you than with the others?
Yeah.
Like, what did you do differently than the others?
I can imagine that.
Yeah.
And have there been moments of solidarity? I mean, for example, speaking about interracial experiences, have there been occasions where you relate with people who are completely from a different race, and they relate with you in such a way that such memory continues to reverberate in your thoughts?
Yes.
Have you experienced some touch of kindness?
Yes, no, a lot. A lot. A lot.
Across the race,
yes.
Across the social space.
Yes, I have. Like, remember I told you the lady that welcomed us that was working at the refugee organization was a Dutch lady, like a strong Dutch lady. And she took me in almost as her own daughter. So I would stay with her in the weekends. She would pick me up from school. So until today, we are still very close. But also just very wonderful colleagues that I've met.
And when you say Dutch lady, white Dutch lady.
Yes. Also very wonderful colleagues that I remember I did an internship, and one of the Dutch colleagues that I was working with, she wrote a postcard to me, and I'll never forget. She said, "Miata, I've never come across somebody like you, and I don't want you to change for anybody. Just stay the way you are."
That is quite nostalgic.
Because you're beautiful. Yeah, like you have a beautiful personality. And those are, people one-on-one that I've met. But also in the office where I'm working now. I have a very close relationship with a Dutch lady as well. And she's remarkable. And we get along very well. You will not even know that we are from different countries or different races. We are similar.
So in other words, if I would summarize this experience, you would say why the challenges are there for a black person to find a life in a white dominated environment. There are also some positives.
Of course. No, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. It's good to know this because that also is safe to say that not everybody sees every other person the same way.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. And let's talk about work. Since you just mentioned your colleague, now I think it's a good time to delve into job.